and girls, it is time for first grade math, and I hope that you were able to pick up your packet yesterday at my house. It has your math book in it. I would like you to pause my video for a minute and get your math book out, and I'm going to tell you what pages you need. Okay, do you have it? First, I want you to have the page that looks like this. I think it's page 212. It has all those different shapes on it, okay? And then I want you to skip past the next couple of pages, and I want you to go to page 215. All right, and we're going to need the front and the back of that page. And if you will look up in the right-hand corner of page 215, you will see our word box. And this is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about rectangles, squares, sides, and square corners. So if you need to pause the video for just a minute, I need you to get those pages ready. I also need you to get a piece of white paper and fold it in half. And on one side, you're going to write the word square. And on the other side, you're going to write the word rectangle. So will you go ahead and do that and get that ready for me? Okay. You can just put that paper to the side right now, because what we're going to do right now is we're going to cut out our shapes on this shape page, okay? So I've started cutting, and I want you to cut on all of the dotted lines, all right? So just start cutting out all of those shapes. And make sure you cut on all the dotted lines. We're going to have lots of different shapes going on there. And again, if I'm going too fast, you can just pause the video while you get all of your shapes cut out. Okay, I have mine ready. You might not have yours ready yet, and that's okay. Just pause the video, and then as soon as you have them ready, you can join me again. All right, what I'm looking for is I am looking for the purple square and the purple rectangle that you just cut out. All right, and we are going to put the purple square on our paper, our white paper, right under the word square. Okay, and we are going to put the purple rectangle right on our paper under the word rectangle. Okay, so I want you to look at these for a minute and think about what's the same about a square and a rectangle and what's different. Okay, let's look at our square first. Okay, how many sides does our square have? And when we're talking about sides, we're talking about these pieces right here. These are the sides. So how many sides does it have? You're right, it has 4 sides. Okay? Now, the other thing that I said, the other word we were going to talk about was called square corners. Square corners. Okay, these are the corners, and to be a square corner, it has to make that shape like that. It's called a square corner. Or another thing we call it is a a right corner. Okay, so how many square corners does a square have? Good. 4 square corners. Okay, we're going to move over to our rectangle now. All right, and let's see how many sides a rectangle has. 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many sides did the rectangle have? 4 sides, just like the square, right? And let's see how many square corners the rectangle has. Yep, it has 4 square corners. So what's the difference between a rectangle and a square? Well, if you look at this square, you can see that all 4 sides are the same. They're the same size, right? If we were to measure those with a ruler, they would all be about, I'm guessing about 2 inches long each. They would all be the same. So not only does a square have 4 sides, it has 4 equal sides. And that's our trick word. In order for a shape to be a square, the sides all have to be the same size. All right, so let's look over here at our rectangle. It has 4 sides, it has 4 square corners. These 2 sides are the same, and these 2 sides are the same. So it needs 4 sides and 2 sides are equal. Okay? These 2 sides are equal and these 2 sides are equal. So if we took this rectangle and put it over here by the square, okay? Let's see if it fits the definition of a square. Does it have 4 equal sides? No. So this rectangle could not ever, ever, ever be called a square. All right? Now let's take our square and move it over here to the rectangle. Okay? Does it have 4 sides? Yes. Does it have 4 square corners? Yes. Are these 2 sides equal? Yes. Are these 2 sides equal? Yes. So could this be a rectangle? Yes, it could. This could be a rectangle or a square. Is that silly? I'll bet your mom and dad are scratching their head right now going, I'm not sure about that. So here's the rule. A square can be called a square or a rectangle. A rectangle cannot be called a square. I would like you to get your little pieces that you cut out, and I would like you to sort them into 2 piles. Okay, I would like you to sort them into one pile that is squares or rectangles. Okay, that means that they have 4 sides. And the other pile is not squares or rectangles. All right, so can you sort those by the shapes that are squares and rectangles and the shapes that are not squares and rectangles? Did you sort those? Oh, did you notice that if you put those two back together, it could be a square? But they're not. They're cut apart. Do you know what those are called if they only have 3 sides? Triangles. Tri means 3. Okay, so in this pile we have our squares and rectangles. In this pile we have our triangles. I'd like you to scoot those shapes into a little pile, and maybe when we're done with our lesson, your mom or dad can help you get a little baggie to put those in and save them for later. I want you to go ahead and get out page 215 of your math book. It looks like this, and we're going to work on it together. Okay, it says, which shapes are not rectangles or squares? Draw an X on each one. Well, we know that rectangles and squares have to have 4 sides and 4 square corners, right? So let's look at this first yellow one. Does it have 4 sides? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Does it have 4 square corners? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, it is a square or rectangle. Let's look at the green one. Does it have 4 sides? Trace it with your pencil. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Does it have 4 square corners? 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you see that all they did is they took that square, right, and they just turned it to make it kind of look like a diamond shape. But it is still considered a square or a rectangle. Okay, let's look at this one. Does it have 4 sides? 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh. It did not complete that side, so it is not a square or a rectangle. Let's try the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, it is. Would you please finish the next 4 on your own? You can pause the video while you do that. All right. The next thing I want you to do is go down to number 2 where it says draw the shape. Would you please draw a shape that has 4 sides and 4 square corners? You can pause the video while you do that. Did you draw a square? Did some of you draw a rectangle? Both of those are correct. If you drew a square, you are correct. If you drew a rectangle, you are correct. Okay, number 3 says, draw a shape that has 4 sides the same length and 4 square corners. Okay, so this is our clue, the same length. That's another word for, or another way of saying equal. Okay, so 4 sides that are equal. Could you draw this? Are all 4 sides equal? No. Could you draw this? Yes. You would need a shape where all 4 sides are equal in order for it to be the correct shape on that one. Okay, if you will turn your paper over to the back, we are going to sort some shapes. And we are going to sort shapes into 3 groups. And those 3 groups are squares, rectangles that are not squares, and not squares or rectangles. Okay, so a rectangle that is not a square would mean something like this or this. It would be a little bit longer. It would not be one that has all 4 sides equal. All right, that would have to go over here. So let's look at our, what do we have? 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 pictures up here. And it says, draw each shape in the correct place on the sorting mat. Okay, so we're going to start with this one right here. Where would that go? Can you draw it in the right column? Yes, it would go under the word square because all 4 sides are the same. Okay. Let's look at this one. Let's count the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. It has 4 sides. They're not equal. Are these 2 sides the same size? Well, we can tell if it has 4 right corners. So let's see. This is a right corner. This is a right corner. But these 2 are not right corners. They are not the same. They don't make that little corner shape. So that is not even a rectangle. That shape would go down here. It is not a square or a rectangle. Okay. And these 2 sides, actually, they're not equal either. Okay, what about this picture that looks like a cloud? Yeah, we know that's not a square or a rectangle. And what about this one that has the broken line? It cannot be a square or a rectangle because it does not have a completed side, does it? Okay, now let's take a look at this one. Does it have 4 sides? Yes. Does it have 4 square corners? Yes. Is it a square? Are all 4 sides the same size? No. It's not a square, but is it a rectangle? Are these 2 sides the same? Are these 2 sides the same? Yes, so that would go down here. Rectangles that are not a square. And what about this one? Yes, a rectangle that is not a square. And what about our last one there? You are right, that is a square. Thanks for joining me for math today, and I hope that you'll save your little shapes and put them in a baggie, and you can actually make some pictures with them or just play with them a little bit, and we might use them another day, so hang on to those, okay? And we will see you tomorrow. Bye.